Our first production is the Genesis production, and it's been directed by yours truly. I'm directing it. It's a play called Bloody Poetry. It's about the life of Lord Byron, George Byron, and Percy Bysshe Shelley, and the two ladies in their life, Claire and Mary Bysshe Shelley. It's a quirky piece. It's different. It's decadent. We've cast it because we had to get it up and running. It's going on the 18th of September. The cast, some of them are here. We have the great Doireann Cumasky, the greater Aisling Cumasky. I jest, Doireann, I jest. Edith Donnelly is playing, there's three ladies in it. The three guys are Tom Duffy, Cian McLaughlin, and Ben O'Sullivan. A great cast, it really is. It's a young people's play. We've kind of gone back to the weird plays for the quirky plays for Genesis. So it's going to be great. The standard of acting from them is incredible. That will happen on the 18th of September. That's going live. So that's Bloody Poetry, and that'll be opening on the 18th of September. Our first play is being directed by none other than Anne-Marie Woollan.
Okay, prepare yourself for a riot of marital mayhem as Alan Ayckbourn's split-siding comedy, How the Other Half Love, tumbles back into the Millbank Theatre stage this November. Opening on the 6th of November, this farce serves up a hearty helping of marital mishaps, courtesy of a married man, his boss's wife, and their tangled web of deception. The plot thickens as our non-so-supple adulteress tried to wriggle out of the trouble by dragging in an unsuspecting third couple into their chaos as unwilling alibis. What follows is a merry-go-round of misunderstandings, arguments, jaw-dropping revelations that'll leave you in stitches. How the Other Half Loves is a masterclass in comedy, weaving together the lives and loves of three couples in a way that defies time, space, and common sense. Meet Frank and Fiona Foster, the older social superior duo who have their nose firmly stuck in the air. And then there's Bob and Teresa Phillips, barely surviving the chaos of new parenthood. And last, but certainly not least, is William and Mary Featherstone, nervous, nerdy, about to have the most eventful week of their lives.
Moves us on then to our second play, our second main production play for Rush Dramatic Society, and I'm pleased to call on Mr. Brian Hosford to tell you what that'll be.
So the second patrons play of the season starts mid-February or thereabouts, and it is Uncle Vanya by Anton Chekhov in a production that is adapted by Conor McPherson. So this is one of the sort of classics of, well, international theatre, I suppose. Conor McPherson has done a really great job in adapting it in terms of bringing the sort of the lightness and the classic nature of what Uncle Vanya is about, without over-labouring it with any sort of inaccessible language or inaccessible situations. Uncle Vanya is basically about, it's a family situation where Vanya lives on a farm with his niece Sonia, and various other people who sort of live there or don't live there or half live there or always around the place. And the man who owns the farm has recently been retired from his job in the university and can't live on his income anymore, and comes home to the farm and disrupts everything, absolutely everything. But it's one of those stories that is kind of it's timeless. There's a massive row in the middle of it all, and then they all somehow or another end up making their peace with each other. It's very entertaining, it's very funny, and there's plenty of drama and plenty of just really good content, really good dramatic content in it, and plenty of sort of ironic comedy in it as well. So that starts in the middle of, or the end of February, and it runs right up until the week before the festival opens.
So looking forward to that. And then we come to the third play, which is being directed by Paschal O'Sullivan, but Paschal is swanning it somewhere in Perth in Australia at the moment, and we couldn't afford the trunk call to get him here. So Brian is going to give an introduction to this play. Thanks.
Yeah, so the final play in the season is a play called Thirst by Ronan Noon. You may remember Ronan Noon, he wrote Brendan, which we did in early 2016 about an Irish emigrant in New York. And Thirst is a really, really interesting concept of a play. It's set in the basement of a very grand summer house in Connecticut. And the summer house in Connecticut belongs to the O'Neill family. And basically, in the basement of the house, there are two maids or servants or kitchen staff or whatever, and a chauffeur. They're the staff of the house. And upstairs lives the O'Neill family. And a long day's journey into night is happening upstairs in the house. So this is the great Eugene O'Neill play. And if you're, I don't know if any of you have ever seen it, but at one point in the play, there's only 4 people in it. There's 4 main people in it, mother, father, and 2 sons. And at one point, a maid walks in to be given an instruction to go and do something, prepare the tea or whatever. And so in the middle of this play, Thirst, one of the maids goes off at one point and comes back and says, oh, they need their tea or whatever it is. Well, that's kind of, that's the one sort of contemporaneous thing that happens to do with the play. But it's basically, they're in the basement carrying on their lives. They're 2 Irish women who, one is the aunt of the other. So one is, you know, old enough to one generation, one is another generation. And the chauffeur is an American man. And it shows their lives, really. I suppose it's kind of like an upstairs, downstairs, Downton Abbey type thing. Whereas, you know, they take off the bosses, the family upstairs. We get a great exposure of the life that the older woman had led in Ireland before she had come to America and why she had to come to America. And then the younger woman when she came over. And then there's a great interplay between the chauffeur and the older woman as well. So great, some very poignant, some very sad moments in it, and some very funny moments in it as well. But a really interesting concept, and so we're looking forward to that. Looking forward to a really great season.
Thank you. Sorry, quick question. Is this a premiere of Thirst? Is it?
It's an Irish premiere.
Irish premiere,
yeah, it is an Irish premiere of Thirst. Yeah,
Excellent.
yeah, and it's an Irish premiere of
Vanya?
Vanya as well, as in Conor McPherson's version. Yeah, so. There we go. All right, thanks guys.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much. That's really it.